And I'm back. I said 5 minutes, I don't know how long I was gone for, but I'm back, so we're gonna jump back in and finish this case. Now that we're actually in the swing of things, might be the best timing to do it. Otherwise it's another couple of weeks and then I've completely forgotten the case again. So this is the correct decision. Let's go. Just saving again, just to be sure. Just let me know if I'm missing anything or any sound or stuff. I think I turned everything back on again, but you never know. December 30th, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 5. Why do so many of these cases happen in December? The amount of, like, Christmas cases we've had is impressive. Good morning, Max. Oh, yeah. Good morning, sweeties. You don't seem like your usual sparkling self today. I'm always like this before I go in front of an audience. I'm working up to it. Teehee. Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk. Regina? How fabulous. My sweetie pie princess. You came to watch my performance today? Of course I did. She is only here because there's gonna be something with her. Moe told me that I should come and watch this. Moe said that? So what kind of performance will you put on today? Let me guess, you'll fly at the end? It's not that kind of show. Isn't that right, my sweeties? Huh? I think my sweetie pie princess doesn't... Yeah, she doesn't seem to realize what's going on. Or even where she is. Well, Max, it looks like it's time to raise the curtain. I'll see you later. Today I'm just a member of the audience. Fabulous. Enjoy yourself out there. Good luck, Max. You're the best. Aw, that is sort of sweet. Regina's different, don't you think, Nick? Top of the morning to ya. Everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in legal limbo. How low can you go? Moe. Top of the morning to you, Governor. Top of the morning? That's the ticket. Attacking the day starts with energy in the morning. The early bird gets the worm, but then again, worms lack higher brain function. Here, Max, I brought you a present. Have some milk. Why is everybody giving milk? Oh my. Thanks? So how are you today, Mr. Wright? Well, I've got the feeling that today I'm going to face off against the real culprit. You mean Acro? Huh? You think he did it? Be careful. He's used to putting his life on the line. Literally. He's got guts to spare. If all I've got to worry about is how thin the tightrope is, I'm used to it already. It just means that I won't be able to press him like I can other witnesses. What are you going to do then, Nick? I do not like this. This sounds like I cannot do my normal technique of at least press everything. I guess today we'll just have to do with our usual psychological warfare. Today we rely on evidence. It's the only way we'll get past Acro and to the truth. You're right, but it's gonna be tough. Anyways, I wanted you to make sure that Regina sees it all today. It's important. Then she'll finally have to deal with the reality of what happened to her father. Fair enough. You want us to make sure Regina watches? Yes. That's why I brought her here to court today. What's that supposed to mean? She needs to know that when people die, they don't just become stars. I may be an old-fashioned clown, but I don't believe in people becoming stars. I don't think it's Acro. At this point, I'm gonna say it's Regina. I do not know why. I legit, if it is Regina, it's another one like the previous one where, like, the stupid ditz turns out to be actually not stupid and, like, smart. But at the same time, I don't want it to be Acro either. Court is now in session for the trial of Maximilian Galactica. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Yeah, exactly, Regina's scary enough. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well, Miss von Karma, you may proceed with your case. The prosecution would like to revise its previous theory of events. What's the meaning of this? We have discovered a new witness, or shall I say, a new eyewitness. One that saw Maximilian Galactica fly off from the scene of the crime. I had a feeling something like this would come up. Due to this revision, we are now prepared to explain how the defendant flew that night. An explanation the prosecution will present if the need so arises. In fact, my detective stayed up all night creating a mock-up of the scene on my orders. Poor Gumshoe. Very well. Please call your witness to the stand. Time to get to work, or shall I say, time to walk the courtroom tightrope. He's got a third birdie. Name and occupation. Ken Dingling, but everyone calls me Acro. I'm employed as an acrobat at the Very Big Circus. Where were you the night of the crime? I was in my room that night. The thing is, if you look at the map, you will see the witness's room is near the crime scene. My thing is, if it is Acro, if that's what we're gonna like try and get to, it means he's faking his injuries. Otherwise, that story would not work. Right? Either way, we'll get to it. We'll get to it when we get to it. If you look at the map, you will see the witness's room is near the crime scene. My room is on the 3rd floor. The crime scene is below my window. The night of the crime, the witness saw something quite shocking. Would you tell us what you witnessed? Okay. Ooh, already into this. It was just after 10 PM and I was resting in my bed. Around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Then, a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. It was Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. At least he is honest. We don't have to fight again about the fact that he never actually saw his face. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. This witness's testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown. If that's the case, there's very little the prosecution need add. All that's left is to explain how the defendant disappeared into the sky that night. Before we get that far, I'd like to cross-examine the witness. A foolish choice by a foolish fool who wishes to feel the foolish sadness of a sad fool. A man must know the proper timings for things, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Just like your old friend, Mr. Miles Edgeworth did. Why does she keep bringing up Miles? Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with the witness's testimony? In the words of Miss von Karma, may I quote yesterday's proceedings? There is no way that actually happened. Very well, you may proceed with your cross-examination. Oh, we shouldn't press everything, should we? Just gonna have a look at this stuff. We still have not done anything with the broken bottle, have we? Like, not really. This is annoying. Because I know that there's gonna be something here wrong. But they made me scared to press stuff. and said that I needed proof. But I don't know what proof they want me to show here. You said that you were resting in bed. One would thus assume that you turned the light off in your room, correct? That's correct. But there are safety lights around the outside of the lodging house. It's so bright, sometimes it can make it hard to sleep. If that's the case, wouldn't it be a good idea to close some curtains? I never really thought of that. I guess that means I'm off to buy some curtains. Sometimes I do make myself useful in these chambers. Ow. The witness will proceed with his testimony. Your room is on the 3rd floor, right? Yes. And you said that you were resting in bed? That is correct. But you were still able to hear a sound from outside? I was indeed. Pressing acro doesn't seem to get results. But maybe something was contradictory in what he said just now. Oh, this is annoying. Why do I feel like because they asked me there is a contradiction, but I couldn't tell you what the contradiction is? He said he could hear stuff from outside even though he was in bed on the 3rd floor. Also, he has no curtains for some reason. I like acro, but he annoys me in this. Because he is a tough nut to crack. What's the matter, Mr. Wright? Nothing, Your Honor. Until I can find a clear contradiction, I should tread lightly. Okay. This is the thing where it's like... I don't know what to present. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have an annoying personality. He's an annoying character, exactly. Like, Gabe, I like him as a person, but the fact that it's like, I need to prove that there's a contradiction. Yeah, exactly. I need to prove that there's a contradiction, but everything he says is... With my logic of somebody's trying to frame Max, everything he says is correct. It very much feels like whoever's trying to frame Max knew that Acro was in his room, would hear the thump, and then would see, because they purposely basically made this fake Max fly in front of his window. But how do I have proof that he did not actually see Max, that it was a fake? What? Can I present the bust? Could it have been the bust that he saw fly up? But could I then show the bust? I've pressed the first two. I've pressed the 10 PM and the thump noise. What do you think? Because I don't want to press everything because I feel like that's going to be useless, but at the same time that is usually my technique of how to figure out what I need to show. I'll continue pressing, I think. Are you sure it was a human being? It could have been a mannequin, or perhaps a large action figure? Well, setting aside the possibility of a mannequin, an action figure is plausible. Okay, keep pressing. You have no need to mince words with Mr. Phoenix, Wright. Testify to the truth and only the truth, just as we were there with you that night. I believe it was a human. Damn, I just strengthened his testimony. I wonder if Akra's statement jives with the facts. What's the matter, Mr. Wright? Nothing, Your Honor. It's not losing me points, it will. The light in your room was turned off then, right? That's true. I was going to bed after all. So with the lights off, you were still able to clearly see a human fly by your window? The safety light lit things up enough for me to see. But honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front. Could you see any of the other symbols? I clearly saw the silk hat, as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. I'm convinced that the person I saw was Max Galactica. The more I press him, the less results I seem to get, but maybe there was something fishy with his latest bit of testimony. When did you start thinking that what you saw wasn't a dream? That's not important. I believe that the prosecution has done a bit of maintenance of the witness's testimony. Just to make sure, let's ask the witness. Don't sustain that. Sorry. Akra must be lying about what he saw, right? Of course he is. Now the challenge will be to expose his lies in court. Well, put the pedal to the metal, Nick. Yeah, it is the same point. Yeah. My question is, how did he have enough light to see that he saw the person from the back, if the whole point is that he didn't have enough light to see? Yeah, I'm gonna press this on that if there wasn't... There is a contradiction. There is a huge contradiction with the testimony that was just given. If there's a contradiction, then prove it with evidence. She's right. Let's see some evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of a contradiction? I feel like, do I use that one again? I think I should use... This? What in the world is this? Ow. You just don't get it, do you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? What don't I get? You're not going to be able to get through this one with your usual bluff routine. Your client looks to be ready to take off once again, straight towards a guilty verdict. You were bluffing? I will not forgive any more mockeries made of this court. Whoops. Witness, would you mind repeating your testimony? With pleasure. So I've pressed everything, and I know that I need to like press to then deliver evidence. I just don't know which one. I'm a bit lost. I've argued the same point before. What points have I argued except for the whole fact that nobody can say that it was him because of the 3 symbols? Seriously. Okay. I'll go through. I'm trying to see it from here. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Give me a sec. I think I figured out. I think I figured it out. If you're saying that it's the same one as the other time. I think I figured it out. It's a silk hat, isn't it? The fact that it was left at the crime scene. So again, why is it the silk hat flying up? I now also think, after this, the way the trick was done was the cloak was hung over his bust. And that's why also his bust is gone. The bust was the murder weapon and thrown off the roof. Okay, I'm gonna do a wild thing. The bust was the murder weapon, and with Cape, the bust was thrown off the roof, or like out of the top floor window, but I'm just gonna say the roof because it was above Acro. To hit the ringmaster on the head, that was the loud thump, and then both Acro and Moe saw somebody basically pull the bust with the cape back up, and at that point the hat was thrown down to, like, after everybody saw or something, to try and frame Max. But the fact that the hat came up is the whole thing of, like, everybody saw his hat go up, but how is his hat now on the floor again? I think that's it. There we go. You claim to have seen the exact same thing Moe saw that night. Do you stand by that? What do you mean? The silk hat. What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window. Well, you should have tried looking down out of your window that night. That would have been quite difficult considering the state that I'm in. Just looking outside of the window was a tough enough challenge for me. That's a shame, because you would have noticed the silk hat found on the scene. That's the ringmaster's hat, right? Afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max's silk hat. Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that Max has 2 silk hats? No, this is a handmade, one-of-a-kind model made only for Maximilian Galactica. Which means, Acro, that you've been fibbing on the stand. Order, order. As always, it looks like someone just had to open their mouth before thinking. Are you okay, Nick? Well, I opened my big mouth and now I have to back it up. How about it, Mr. Wright? What would cause this witness to commit perjury in this court today? He has a grudge against Max? Acro was dreaming. Acro's the real culprit. I don't think Acro is the real culprit. Yeah, if you didn't know, it isn't a lie. So would it make sense that he has a grudge against Max? Because in my theory, he's not the culprit, but that might just be the fact that I like him. Is Acro the culprit? Is that what this is? Is that... Because both the other two, like, he doesn't really have a grudge against Max. He has a grudge against Regina. And he also wasn't dreaming, because I think the story, as I told it just now, makes more sense. But then, if he's the real culprit... No spoiler. Is Acro the real culprit? That... Why would he say... Why would he admit to thinking it was Dream? I'm gonna have to go with that he's the real culprit. I don't believe it, but I feel like that makes the most sense in the answer here. That silence is prompting. Your Honor. On this occasion, the defense accuses Acro himself. On this occasion? Accuses Acro? What in the world are you accusing him of? Obviously, we accuse him of the murder of Mr. Russell Berry. Could it... Okay. To quickly change my story, could he have been the one to literally throw the thing out the window and then pull it up, and then he had to, like, tag onto Moe's story? So he wasn't in bed, he wasn't at the window. Mr. Wright, are you serious? Deadly serious, Your Honor. I think your trips to the circus have served you well. You seem to have learned how to try and grab at an audience's hearts and minds. Your Honor, don't allow yourself to be swayed by the theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd with smoke and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the book. Really? If you don't believe me, just look at the witnesses. At the witness. He has birdies. He's calm enough for it to almost be scary. He is staying rather calm and collected. Why is the bird attacking us? Mr. Dingling, do you have any response to the defense's accusation? And don't really need to say a thing, do I? What do you mean? Everyone take a good look at me. I can't even stand up by myself, let alone leave the lodging house. That's true. I understand that Mr. Wright is just trying to help this client. But to do this by accusing me of a murder of all things. See, even a sliver of common sense makes it clear the accusation is ludicrous. She's right. Way to pick on the disabled, you heartless, cruel man. Phoenix is a poopy head. See that, Mr. Phoenix Wright? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough of this little game. I've got a doctor's note to confirm that Acro is unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defense is planning on making a claim to counter this as well? I can hear the defense now. Acro had an accomplice. What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Acro have an accomplice? No. I think he threw the thing out the window. Now then, this must be when we get to hear the name of the mystery accomplice. Not this time, Von Karma. What? You're not going to sucker me into this one. What are you blabbering about, Mr. Wright? There was no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder all by himself. Order, order! What are you getting at? Way to keep them on their toes, Nick. Now I'm going to have to prove how it all fits together. I have to show how Acro murdered Russell Berry. Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do that? I know what I can't do. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed. Alright, then let's do it. Mr. Phoenix Wright, if this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all lies, right? Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime was committed, exactly where was Mr. Dingling? In his room. He threw the thing out the window. He was obviously here the entire time. That's Acro's room. Pretty simple, eh? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. In that case, there can be only one correct answer. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster. What? Are you nuts? What say you, Mr. Dingling? It's an interesting theory. That's it? Considering that what you proposed is impossible, yes, that's it. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? As the witness has stated, your assertion is impossible. As he is in a wheelchair, there is no way he could go to the scene or be the killer. You've got a point. It seems you've forgotten, once again, Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime. That's true. Moe said that he saw Max, didn't he? But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly. Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright? What is it? I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume. How did he do it? That's the next course of this legal buffet. Be careful, Nick. If you mess up here... She's right. I can't mess up here. I've got to give this one more serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster. And he did it while he was in his room. No doubt about it. Time to enlighten us as to how Mr. Dingling committed the crime, Mr. Wright. I'm going to present some evidence. So what does Mr. Dingling use to commit the crime of murder against Russell Berry? I'm gonna... That's my guess. What's that? A picture? It is indeed. The problem is with the item that's shown in the picture. The bust? It's quite a large bust, and because it is life-sized, it is also very, very heavy. Heavy? Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window. See, my plan wasn't that outrageous. He lost his birdies. See, this is how Acro was able to kill the ringmaster. With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust. Order, order. So you're saying the bust fell onto the ringmaster? A rather simple crime. Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit. How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible. Well, Acro is an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bust. Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges? Well, Acro's at a loss for words. He should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth. Well, 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 Acro. You can't run away from things. Ow. I'd watch what I say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix, right? What? Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get proper testimony from the witness himself. Testimony, you say? Von Karma. She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time. There's absolutely no need for such testimony. The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond. The defense's objection is overruled. Why can't he see things my way once in a while? Sorry. Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony. The witness will have no problems, however, let's all be respectful towards him. Thank you. That woman will sink to any load to win a case. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. What makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster? That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think? Dude. My man, dude. I have no doubts in regardless to the witness's testimony. It was impossible for him to lift the bust and stick himself out far enough to look. Not to mention that he could not have known the location of the ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries. That's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright? I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination. He is simply stalling. It's shameful, really. I can't let her get to me. I've got to focus. This is, again, what seems to be an airtight... You suppose you could have lifted something the size of the bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. This is gonna be the key. So, there must have been a way for him to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Because he is the one that, like, wrote the note. And... okay, I'm having some wild ideas. 1. Could it have been that the goal was to kill Regina, not the ringmaster? Because he put the note in her pocket, but she was too stupid to realize it was aimed at her. I'm gonna have a look in my evidence. What is something we haven't used yet? So, if... because it could have been... If Regina was the expected victim... He definitely meant to kill Regina, yeah. So, if Regina was the expected victim... how would he have known where Regina was? Let's say it like that. There's also the case of the box. Why is the box there? Because I don't think he would have been carrying that. As in the ringmaster. Why would the ringmaster be carrying a box with pepper in it? Wait, didn't it say that Regina also sneezes from pepper and it's like a very distinct sneeze? So could it have been that, like, he was waiting for a sound from Regina and hit her dad instead because she was too stupid to take the note seriously that it was aimed at her? So could it have been... because we've got... because we've had... there was pepper in the wooden box, but could the wooden box have been, like, placed to, like, intrigue Regina? Why do you say it would be impossible? Allow me to explain. You accept that if I was carrying the bust, I couldn't see out below the window. Thus, there is no way that I would know the location of the ringmaster's head. Well, I suppose you've got a point. Yeah, the box was a lure, so... hey, Nick. Huh? What if you turned things around? Maybe if you think of it sort of like this. If he knew the location of the ringmaster's head, then he could drop the bust. That does make sense. If only I could prove somehow that Acro knew the location of the ringmaster's head without looking down. I think I've already explained things sufficiently. If I present the box here as a lure. That's my guess. Acro. You didn't really need to lean out of the window, did you? It is quiet now, so I think this is correct. What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add. You silly, hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling, how about you show us some evidence? But I did such a good job hinting! Yes, hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright. Maybe you should take a look at this. The key point here is the wooden box. The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over. The same? The question is, who placed the wooden box here? Who? When Ben and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box. Which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime. I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense. The moment that the bust came falling down was exactly the same moment that the ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear. You mean, if the bust were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box, there would be no way that it would miss the head of the victim. No. Order. This is unbelievable. Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going, and there's only one way to go from here. Forward. So the next question I have is, who placed that wooden box at the scene? It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and then all he had to do was lower it down. Ow! Allow me to whip some sense into you. Mr. Phoenix Wright, how... Ugh. The ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he lifted the box. That's why the box was so specially made. Specially made? Indeed. It had the most peculiar features. The weight of the box? The box has a remarkable weight. Weight? According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds. Just to lift up this wooden box would have required... Oh, I see. One would have to squat down, then lift it up with their body, wouldn't you say? That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is also very large. The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it? That is correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same space. Fool. Does he even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you've had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. You do? Did you do it? Did you place this wooden box in the plaza? Mr. Wright, may I have a vivid imagination, but I could never have done what he's proposing. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of Max's bust? I remember. Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria. Then what happened to it? I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. Ah, that means. You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bust from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bust from the cafeteria to my room? Money. Money the monkey. Because the bust is shiny. You see, Mr. Phoenix Wright, explain that. Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice. Tell us exactly how the witness would have carried the bust from the cafeteria. Yep, we definitely have a problem here. But this is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happened once and for all. Money is finally the answer. Alright, Mr. Wright, let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bust from the cafeteria back to his room? A monkey? Everyone knows Money. He loves shiny objects of any size. Oh, like when he stole the ventriloquist's ring. So, are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bust? Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey just did because it's shiny. The monkey stole it on his own and then brought it back home. Home? Money lives in Acro's room. Acro's room? But the bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny. Maybe you should put the whip down sometime and read the court record. Those are some very nice cards he's holding. Yes, and they are made of platinum, which is very shiny. Wow. Acro. Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bust back to your room. If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate. Order, order. I said order, Miss Von Karma. Where is the bust in question at this moment? I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak. This is a rather strange turn of events. But let's say that the monkey had not stolen the bust. What would have happened then? Well, in that event, something else would have been used as the murder weapon. Wait. Then you mean this bust was the murder weapon? Purely by accident? It's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. Moron. Mr. Wright's argument was so circular, I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water, there's no denying that. Ow. Don't seem so flamboozled, especially by this fraud of an attorney. Fraud. You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix, right? And what is that? You should know. You forgot that your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime. There is no reason to doubt the clown's testimony. That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright? Nick, don't let her beat you now. I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around. When the murder occurred, there were two people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Barry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Who was the murderer the clown saw? It was the bust again, right? That is my guess. That was my logic with that the bust goes up. Ow! I asked who was the other person Moe saw on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with the question. Au contraire, mon frère. It does indeed have something to do with the question. Moe said that he saw Max's silhouette. But he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw. How is that possible? It's simple, really. What Moe actually saw that night was Max's bust. What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? They've been firing. The silhouette he saw was wearing a cloak. There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. It would be easy to hang one off the cards in the bust's hands. Idiot, who in their right mind would put a cloak on a bust? It doesn't matter who put it on the bust. Just wait a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? That question is of the utmost importance to this case, don't you agree? Duh, he caught me. So let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? He did, because he's the only one that could. I don't know how, considering as soon as the bust met him, he should have been dead. But he's the only option, so I'm going to present him. Fool him? You are saying it was the victim himself, Russell Barry? That's what I'm saying. The victim himself placed the cloak on the bust? Placed the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it. Then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright? No, because Russell Barry had the cloak. That's why I'm like, it can only have been right. Explain yourself. Nick, do you really have a handle on all of this? I'm fine, Maya. I'm fine in putting all the pieces together. There's really only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright. So you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time. Acro used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. Then he attached that rope to the bust, and dangled the bust out of his bedroom window directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than a ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trillo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. Now this is when the magic happens. At this very instant that the bust hit the victim, You just wait a second there, Mr. Phoenix, right? Magic. Definitely. As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be. It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet. What? The impact of the bust on the victim threw the cloak up, which snagged onto the bust. That impact also caused a sound a certain witness heard, prompting him to take a look. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Moe Curls, the clown. When... I keep saying Moe or Moe. When Moe looked out his window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Moe saw the bust being raised with the cloak dangling on it, primarily because in his wheelchair he couldn't see out of his window. So he just kept pulling the bust up. And that is how the magical murderer disappearing into the sky came to be. So you see, the only person who could have pulled this off is the one person who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the crime scene. Acro, it could only have been you. Acro's been playing mind games with us all day. With all of us. Sorry, I read that wrong. He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now. So, what now? You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true? Evidence? In this core, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my whip. Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence? Nick, they say they want evidence. I just explained how there can only be one possible murder method, but there is still something unusual about Moe's eyewitness account. Unusual? A contradiction, actually. Okay then, use that and get out of this jam. That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence to the court that backs your claims. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to this magic case. I'm gonna say this note, because that's like make sure. No, because that doesn't have anything to do with the trick, does it? That just make sure that. Huh. Is this... Oh, no. Yeah, this is the fact that Moe saw a hat, even though the hat was technically already on the floor at this point. So it must have been the bust that he saw. Is that the proof? The proof is Max's 3 symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses. Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings. Yesterday, there were 2 contradictions in Moe's testimony. The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other. But the theory I just presented explains all of those contradictions. You fool, do you ever shut up? No, Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Moe said yesterday. He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Moe saw was actually the bust's. Makes sense. If you look at it that way, then he did see the silk hat. Well, sort of. Fine, you've got one, but what about the other contradiction? The other contradiction? Remember what that ventriloquist said in court. He said that the witnesses white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said that there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick? Of course, I can explain all of it. What was that? Please recall the instant when the cloak snagged onto the bust. If the cloak snagged onto the bust, what happened to the white roses? Do you get it yet? If the cloak got snagged onto the front of the bust, it means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bust. Ah! Which explains why Moe didn't see them. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust. This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads. Let's do this, Nick. Then maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel. He's too calm. Well, so much for that theory. Mr. Wright, do you mind? What is it? You took the time to research our circus, didn't you? Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't? If you did, then maybe you understand why you think you're off track. Why is that? Motive. Oh yeah, Acro liked. That's why I think it must have been aimed at Regina. This witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Thus, there's absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster. Your Honor, I'd like you to hear Acro's story. Learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now. What do we do? There's no doubt that Acro deeply respected the ringmaster. Acro's motive, It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well, however, I feel this is a good place to take a break. I will listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after recess. This court will now take a 10-minute recess. I feel like this is the moment where they're gonna reveal that the ringmaster wasn't the aimed upon victim. It is a very sad situation. I can't believe it. Acro? It's pretty shocking, isn't it? It definitely is, and to think it was always the most straightforward of the group. Jeebus, am I that hated? Ahem. Acro tried to pin the murder on you on purpose. He did? Psst, psst. But I'm nothing but a little nobody, you know? But you're not, which is kind of the reason why. Hey pal! You're gonna ignore me after I went to all this trouble to bring you some evidence? Ah, Detective Gumshoe? Ah, forget it. I'm going home. This guy deserves to be guilty anyway. Now, Detective, I'm sorry. Look, why don't you relax a little? Maybe you just don't kill anyone is a good motto. We've got some really tasty milk. How about a card trick, Detective? Ho ho ho. Well, if you insist. Now, about that evidence you mentioned. What is it? Here you go. Huh? This was yesterday in Acro's room. Yep, and I've included the forensic results. Take a look at it later. Won't Miss Von Karma be mad what you're doing this? That's why this is all a secret. Huh? Look, the details are on a need-to-know basis and we're not really allies or anything, but everything that's happened in court up until now has gone according to our plan. I don't know. Miss Von Karma didn't seem in control of things in there just now. You'll figure it out eventually, pal. Yesterday, our final plans were set into motion. Final plans? That reminds me. I've got a message from the prosecutor for you. Nothing is ever truly decided until the very end. That's it. And that's it for me too, pal. I'm out of here. What kind of secrecy is this? What did he mean by that? The very end part? I'm not sure. It was all pretty cryptic to me. Oh, one more thing. Don't scare me like that. It looks like there's a large care package from the circus for the defendant. What? For me? It's milk. The reception area looks like some kind of dairy. So hurry up and drink it all before it spoils. An entire dairy's worth of milk? For me? Okay, time to first have a look at that new evidence. Bat scarf stained with his blood and a small quantity of pepper. Okay. Court is now back in session. Miss von Karma, please continue from where you left off. I'd like to continue with Acra's testimony, starting with his relationship to the victim. I'd also like to get proof from the defense. Proof of what kind of motive Acra would have to commit this crime. Understood. Now, Mr. Dingling. I think my battery is dying. My controller battery is dying. Yes, Your Honor. Please proceed with your testimony. Finally, we get to the motive. Wait, Nick, are you okay? Just do me a favor and don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. About the ringmaster. When we were little, we were abandoned by our parents. That's when the ringmaster of the very big circus, Russell Berry, took us in. I became an acrobat at around 9 years old. I wanted to find a way to repay the ringmaster. That was my sole purpose in life. You're such a thoughtful young man. As you heard, the witness deeply respected the victim. I wonder how anyone could think that Acra would kill the man he held in such esteem. You are absolutely right. How could anyone think that, Mr. Wright? Which is why there's no real need for a cross-examination, is there? Actually, that's the question I'm trying to answer myself. Why would Acro kill the ringmaster? This might be my last chance to answer that question. I feel like it's an of course we'll cross-examine. I just don't know, because I feel like... there is no reason for him to kill the ringmaster. There's a reason for him to kill Regina, and I don't think cross-examining is gonna give that answer. Because none of this is about her. So I don't think... And the fact that they are asking if I want to cross-examine, I feel like it's not needed. There's no need to cross-examine this witness. What's that? Why was the ringmaster murdered? There's no need to delve into that bit of testimony when I know the answer already. Mr. Wright, I'd like to ask you a question. Go ahead, Your Honor. Would you like to know? I would just like to know. Can you provide an explanation as to why Acro would want the ringmaster dead? Of course I can't provide one. Nick? Yeah, I didn't even have to think about it. It was obvious from the start, Your Honor. The reason that Acro killed the ringmaster is something that can't be proven. What? That's because Acro had no reason to kill the ringmaster at all. Ow. Your foolish attempts to fool us like foolish fools is so foolhardily foolish. Did you forget? You made an accusation against this witness, did you not? I believe it was, this is the real killer of Russell Berry, ringmaster. If you want to jump to the end of things, then yes, that sounds about right. The end of things? Acro? You didn't plan to kill the ringmaster at all, did you? The ringmaster wasn't your target that night. There we go. What did you just say? I'm saying that the target of this witness's murder plot was not the ringmaster. Because it was never his intention to kill Russell Berry to begin with. What? Order, order! Bailiff, I don't care who it is. Smack anyone who's loud in the face. Twice if you must. Fair. Mr. Wright, what in the world are you trying to do to my court? Mr. Phoenix Wright, what in the world are you trying to do to this court? Are you attempting to imply that Acro was trying to kill someone else? I think that's what I present. Or do I present the fact that I think he was trying to kill Regina? I'm gonna say it's Regina because that, like, he was attempting. I'm implying that he's someone else, so this is the someone else he is trying to kill. Regina Berry. This young girl is the ringmaster's daughter, correct? Acro, you were really aiming for her that night, weren't you? It's right, she was too stupid to realize it. You don't need to answer that, it's a mean-spirited leading question. He could easily answer this question. If I'm wrong, all he has to say is you're wrong. That's it. That's it, huh, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Enough. Mr. Wright, allow me to. Ow. The only thing allowed to interrupt me is death itself. Huh? And that goes for you too, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Show me evidence, now. I want to know why Acro would want to kill Regina Berry. Yes, me too. I demand to see some proof. Present evidence that proves Acro was out to kill this young girl. The fact that he left a literal note for her. Acro, you remember this, don't you? It's a piece of paper that we found inside the ringmaster's tailgoat. This is why Regina is here. Not because we're gonna blame her for it, but because she was the intended victim. Inside the victim's tailcoat? Acro wrote this note. It's ironically entitled, To the Murderer. Its purpose was to call someone to the plaza at 10 PM. So you're saying that he called Russell Berry with that note? Yes, but there's just one little problem. Problem? Acro did indeed place this note into someone's pocket. However, that someone was not the ringmaster. You mean it wasn't for the... That's exactly what I mean. The person this note was intended for was none other than Regina Berry. Order, order, order. Mr. Wright, this little theory of yours is the truth, Your Honor. It isn't a theory. Simply put, Regina didn't think the note was meant for her, which is why, the morning of the crime, she placed it on the cafeteria bulletin board. That's when her father, I mean the ringmaster, saw the note. That's correct. The ringmaster ended up in that plaza instead of Regina. And he was killed because of that mistake, instead of Regina. That's incredible. Remember the testimony that Acro gave us earlier today. Lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. If I were to do that, I'd end up falling out the window myself. Acro had no idea who it was that arrived in the plaza, because he couldn't look down out of his window to see who it actually was. I've got it. Acro thought it was Regina down in the plaza. And that's when he let the bust fly. Hey Nick, isn't Regina listening to all of this from the audience? She is. Unfortunately, it's only going to get harsher from here. I hope Regina can handle it. Acro wrote this note to Regina. Foolishly foolish fool with foolishly foolish fool ideas of foolishly tomfoolery. God, you're so foolish you've even made me sound like a foolhardy fool. Very well, Mr. Phoenix Wright. If you're so sure, then tell us about this line. I have conclusive evidence of what took place. Yes, what about that line? Well, if the note was meant for Regina Berry, it would mean that this note is declaring that Regina Berry is a murderer. You just don't get it, do you? What? What did you just say? The ringmaster knew what the note meant, which is why he went to the plaza, in place of his lovely daughter. Oh my god. So I think Acro thought Regina did it, but actually her dad did. So her dad, again back to, was the intended victim. Acro just didn't know. Hold it right there, Mr. Wright. What is this incident that is alluded to in the note? What is lovely? I don't think anything here is lovely. The incident 6 months ago. I know all about it. An incident occurred 6 months ago. And now I am more than ready to show this court what happened at that date. Moron. Yeah, no, Regina is not really lovely, I think. Wait, are you sure that it relates to the present case? It does indeed, Your Honor. Everything in this case has its start in what happened 6 months ago. Really, Nick? I think so. Well then, if that's the case, hurry up and tell us about it. What is this conclusive evidence mentioned in the note? I know I'd certainly like to know what that is. If I can't answer that question, the judge is going to think I'm bluffing. Yeah. The conclusive evidence about the incident 6 months ago is actually the scarf we just got. What? This is it? Well, I kind of figured that I'd try and get rid of evidence I didn't need anymore. Well, from now on, you can do those sorts of things at home on your own time. Is that not the conclusive evidence? Oops. Please present this conclusive evidence. I'm almost to the big climax, which means that no matter what, I can mess up again. The conclusive evidence. Is the conclusive evidence the pepper because the pepper here? That sounds better. Achoo! What kind of spicy joke is this, Mr. Phoenix Wright? It isn't a joke at all. It's a decisive evidence you asked for. What do you mean? Recall that the victim was trying to take the wooden box away with him? He was doing so because this piece of decisive evidence is what was inside. Another unbelievable conclusion. Very well, Mr. Wright, so what exactly are you saying? Are you claiming Regina Berry killed someone with a small bottle of pepper? Taking a note into account, that's the only logical conclusion you can draw. Foolish fool who never tires of his own foolish ways. If you're so sure, Mr. Phoenix Wright, then answer this question. Who was Regina Berry's intended victim? It was Bat, wasn't it? It was Bat. Bat was the intended victim, because Bat was the one that got most hurt. Who is this? This is Acro's younger brother. What does this prove? His younger brother isn't dead. Technically, that's true. However, Bat has been in a coma for 6 months now. It's not a stretch to see how Acro could feel that his brother is dead. Regina, she did that to him? Do you spend your entire life dreaming up new ways to be a fool? Naturally, the prosecution has looked into Acro's brother, Sean Dingling. 6 months ago, he was bit by a lion and fell into his current comatose state. Oh! Could the pepper have made the lion sneeze? Is that what happened here? And that's why it looked like he was smiling. Regina, I mean Miss Regina Berry, is an animal tamer by trade. However, no tamed animal in that position is ever trained to attack another human. They wouldn't understand the command. Moreover, Miss Regina could never do something like that. It's just not in her. Why does everybody keep thinking she's an angel? She's creepy, is what she is. So then what happened to Acro's brother? He's not the victim of an attempted murder, he's the victim of an accident. I see. Now what do we do? No one seems to be going along with your theory. Do you think what happened to Bat was actually an accident? It was more than that. The lion biting Bat was no accident at all. What? You're such an amateur, Mr. Phoenix Wright. There is no way that Regina would ever incite her lion to attack another human being. She may not have incited the lion to attack another human being, but Regina is responsible for making the lion bite Arrow's brother. Bat. That's now, yeah, so... That's just a scarf. Acro. This scarf is something that Bat used to wear, correct? That's right. And who is the one that gave this scarf to Bat? Regina. Regina gave it to him. Regina? There is something more than just blood on this scarf, Your Honor. And what might that be? Pepper. Pepper? Pepper. Regina gave this scarf to Bat right before the accident. And she covered it with as much pepper as she could. Hey, what's with the silent treatment? Excuse me, Mr. Wright? You've done a good job of fingering a criminal. But out of curiosity, what was her crime? Miss Berry gave a pepper-covered scarf to Bat as a present. Where's the crime in that? It still seems like the judge doesn't get it. Mr. Phoenix Wright, wasn't it said that the lion seemed to be smiling? Smiling? The lion was smiling? Right before Bat was bit by the lion, for a moment the lion's mouth changed and it looked like he was smiling. Lions smile? I've never heard of them smiling, however. Lions sneeze. Whoa. Leon wasn't trying to bite Bat at all. He sneezed. In reality, all he actually did was sneeze. He sneezed because of all the pepper on the scarf. What? You fool! You've got to be kidding me. What's the matter, Miss Von Karma? I object, for objection's sake. Mr. Phoenix Wright, this theory, you believe it? You really intend to say that this is how this joke of an accident actually happened? Of course I do. It's the truth. The lion sneezed due to the pepper, and that's when Bat lost consciousness. Acro nearly lost his brother due to this accident, or this joke, as you put it. Which is why he tried to get his revenge against Regina. You foolish idiot. Ha. It almost does seem like a terrible joke. Doesn't it? Once again, I'm impressed by your imagination, Mr. Wright. God, he's too cool. Like, too chill. To think that there's someone who treats this accident with the respect it deserves. Are you telling me that what I said was true? Acro, you can't mean witness. Are you confirming the defense's claim? Mr. Wright. Unfortunately, your imagination is not enough to find me guilty of murder. What do you mean by that? The pepper, the scarf, the lion. I see where you're going, but it's a bit hard to swallow. Not to mention the fact that there's an even bigger problem with your theory. What would that problem be? The same problem it's always been. Evidence. If I drop Max's bust on top of the ringmaster, where is the evidence that proves that claim? You mean the conclusive evidence? The biggest problem is the murder weapon, or the lack thereof to be more precise. The murder weapon. The bust that the defense claims was used. If that were to be found in Acro's room, if it was covered with the victim's blood, that would be awfully conclusive in my eyes. Yes, it would be. The bust. Nick, you've got to do something. This is the last step. If I get this one right, the case is won. This is a game breaker? Oh, that's annoying. So, you saying that this is a game breaker has made me 10 times more nervous. My thing is, we have been in Acro's room. I don't think the bust is there, so searching Acro's room, I don't think it's gonna result in anything. I think the bust is somewhere else. I don't know where else. But I don't think searching Acro's room, because we've been there. And I don't think there was a place to hide it there. So I think there must be a different place for the bust to be. So searching Acro's room is not the answer. But see how things work out first is also creepy to me. But I'm gonna go with that because I don't think so. We've been in that room. We have tried to find stuff. There's a whole pile of glittery stuff, and I feel like a bust would have been clear to us until before this. So I'm gonna go with see how things work out first. It might be worthwhile to search Acro's room, but... why aren't you going to search his room? It looks like you finally figured things out, didn't you? Now you know the true meaning of von Karma total justice. I guess. I figured out with you, that's the least I should expect. You'd leave no stone unturned. A von Karma never leaves anything to chance. We already searched Acro's room yesterday. What did you find? There's no reason to even say it. If we found what you think we found in that room, Acro would not be here as a witness. But to put a point on it, Max's bust was not in the room. The murder weapon is still unaccounted for. You see, Mr. Wright, the bust wasn't in my room. Furthermore, Detective Dick Gumshoe executed the search by complete surprise, and we took Acro directly to the prosecutor's office after that. End of story. Just wait a second, something's funny about all this. It looks like you lacked the final nail to put into my coffin. But, what about the scarf? What about the note? What about them, Mr. Wright? No offense, but the only evidence that is relevant here is that which pertains to the death of the ringmaster. You should know that by now. Do something, Nick. Don't let this case slip away. The bust, where is it now? Where's the bust right now? You're Phoenix, right? You know where that bust is. I'm sure you do. There's not even a single clue. How am I supposed to know where the bust is? It seems this case is coming to a close. The defense's counter-arguments look to have fallen short. Thank you for your support. I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Wright. That is a weird sentence, yeah. I think that brings to end the cross-examination of this witness. Where is Max's bust? The defense needs time to prepare to present its case. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous and I just bit my tongue. Huh? What? We need time to do what? We need time to do what? Why are you the most surprised person here? She's your aide, isn't she? Do you really have a case to present, Mr. Wright? What are you asking me? The rest is up to you, Nick. Good luck. Hey, wait, you can't be serious. Acrobats always have their lives on the lines, don't they? That's how Acro's lived his life up until now. Now it's time for us to walk across our own tightrope. If we don't, we're certain to lose. Very well, the defense may proceed. He doesn't have a clue, and I don't think he'll be finding one anytime soon. Walking the tightrope of logic, there's no room for a full step. Sink or swim, the only way through is forward. The murder weapon. Where is Max's bust now? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna have to think about this logically. After he's pulled up the murder weapon, I'm just debating between... He visited the hospital before they, like, got to him, kind of thing. But they searched him before he visited the hospital, didn't they? I don't know. I'm trying to think. Are there places in the big top he could have gone to? Or it could have gone to. I feel like somewhere in this courtroom is like the most dramatic one of the three. Because could he have got it in his wheelchair? Tightrope, maybe. for the sake of drama, because both the lodging house and Big Top will have been searched for this. Them trying to find the murder weapon, the lodging house and Big Top will have been searched, so I feel like the courtroom is the absolutely most dramatic place for it to be. I'm gonna guess it's in his wheelchair somehow. Because his wheelchair is big. So I'm gonna say somewhere in this courtroom, because the wheelchair is currently in the courtroom. It's obvious, the bust is inside this very courtroom. It's obvious where? Allow me to pinpoint the location of the bust once and for all. The witness stand. If it's in his wheelchair, it's at the witness stand. Let's hope. I'm just going for drama at this point. The music stopped. Acro. I'm sorry to ask this, but do you mind if I take the blanket off your wheelchair? I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you, Mr. Wright. Well, you are a big guy, and you have a pretty big wheelchair because of it. I just wanted to make sure you weren't hiding anything under that blanket. Because it seems to me that it'd be really easy to say hide a bust under there. Ha. Yeah, it's good a backup plan, exactly. Once again, your penchant for humor hits me where it hurts, Mr. Wright. I think it's pretty amazing that you can laugh in your position. However, your lightheartedness doesn't change the fact that the bust is under there. We all know that you can't leave the lodging house by yourself in your condition. That proved inconvenient when Miss Von Karma happened to search your room yesterday. If she had found the murder weapon in your room, it would have been all over. Which is why you had to hide it in the only place that you could hide it. Under your wheelchair. Which is why, Acro, I have to ask you again. Would you please remove the blanket from your lap? Well done, Mr. Wright. Masterfully played. You fool! How could you? You've got me. I've been bagged by a real pro. Actually, 2 of them. 2 of them? Miss Franziska Von Karma and Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? There's just one thing I'd like to know. How did you know to launch a surprise search on my room last night? There were 2 pieces of decisive evidence, the cloak and the bust. I burnt the cloak in my room and threw the ashes away with the trash. Regina always took my trash out every morning, you know. But the bust, obviously, I couldn't throw that away. When you executed your search, all I could do was try and hide the bust. And the only place that I could hide it quickly was under this wheelchair. Miss Von Karma, you had things all figured out, didn't you? I was completely sucked in by your calculated strategy. And now to be caught in the middle of court, hiding the murder weapon. There's no way I can escape that. So you've got me. Well done, Mr. Wright. Well done, Miss Von Karma. It all makes sense now. I can't believe that Von Karma thought that far ahead. It's amazing. I like him too. You definitely couldn't tell by looking at her. I know I sure couldn't. I can't believe it. Me. Make a mistake. Why did I order a surprise search of your room? If only I hadn't done that. It seems we finally arrived at the truth. Acro. Yes, Your Honor. Did you kill the ringmaster of the Berry Big Circus, Mr. Russell Berry? Yes, Your Honor. I'm responsible for that crime. Acro. All my brother wanted was for Regina to like him. That's why he teased her. One day, my brother sprinkled some pepper on Regina. She started sneezing so hard you couldn't help yourself from laughing. That's why Regina thought it'd be funny to get him back in the same way. And that's why she covered the scarf with pepper. I know she didn't mean for anything bad to happen. I know this. She just wanted to make my brother sneeze a few times too. But I just couldn't forgive her, no matter what. What am I truly guilty of? I'm guilty of never ever being able to understand her. Your brother became a star. Regina believes in that so purely that she would laugh innocently when saying it too innocently. I just couldn't stand it, no matter how hard I tried. And that's when you decided to do something about Regina. How dreadful. So are you saying that you are a victim in all of this as well? No, that's not what I mean. Oh, I'm nothing but a murderer. That's who I am. At first I thought I'd kill myself, then I pondered giving myself up. But I couldn't just up and leave. I just couldn't. Not yet. That's why I tried to pin this on Max. Max, I'm so sorry. I just couldn't up and leave yet. This has been such a strange case. Agreed. It's almost a reflection of the circus itself. I'm an idiot. I can't believe it. You beat me again. I believe this case is now beyond any point of possible discussion. Thus, I'd like to declare my verdict. It is so sad. God, that's a lot of pink. This court is adjourned. Fabulous! But to be honest, I can't really be too happy about this. Acro, the ringmaster, Regina, and Bat. Not a single one of them was a bad person inside, huh? That's a good question, and one I don't know the answer to. Many congrats, but only at max. 1 million of them. Thank you. What's with the vibe in this room? We're just thinking about Acro. No, 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 no. If you worry about people too much, then you'll be like this forever and never be happy. Huh? Regina! She's been like this for a while now. It's all my fault. Yes and no and yes and no. Sweetie. Sweetie pie. Bat and Acro, they're never coming back. Now everyone's gonna split up. Regina. Mr. Wright, tell me something. What do you want to know, Regina? Acro said something right at the end. I just couldn't up and leave yet. Does that mean that Acro... Is he gonna try and get his revenge on me? I don't think so. He couldn't... he couldn't leave because Bat is still in a coma, right? He's not gonna do that to you, Regina. Are you sure? You're really sure? I can't believe that. Yeah, Acro doesn't have any desire for revenge anymore. If that's true, then I want to see some evidence. Huh? I want to know you're not just making up that stuff about Acro not wanting revenge. He's not actually dead. Acro didn't want to get caught up for a reason. He wanted to see his brother open his eyes again. Exactly. But Bat... That's right, Regina. He's still alive, you know. I never knew. But now that Acro's been caught... Uh-huh. I know. What? I'll do it. I'll stay next to Bat as long as it takes. Aw, until he opens his eyes, and then until he can meet Acro again. That's so sweet of you, Regina. I'm sorry, Acro. I'm sorry, Bat. Well, hopefully this is enough to give her a little peace of mind. Ooh, sorry. Hey, Max. What is it, Moe? We really put you through a lot, didn't we, buddy? I'm sorry about what happened. So whenever you like to leave us, I'll pay your fee and rip up the contracts. I understand. What a fabulous thing to do for me. I might even leave tomorrow. What's going to happen to the circus now? That's the big question. Our ringmaster was really an amazing person, wasn't he? Even though he's not here anymore, everyone is sticking together. The staff, the performers, no one wants to leave the circus. That's why I've made a decision. What is it? I've decided that I will take over as the new ringmaster. I will turn this circus into the best circus this world has ever seen. The best circus the world has ever seen? Don't laugh. That's quite the goal. Yay, I can't wait. Then I guess that changes things. Huh? There's only one thing the best circus the world has ever seen needs. The world's best illusions. Which means this circus needs the best magician the world has ever seen. Max, let's work together and make our circus super fabulous. What do you say, big guy? I don't know what to say. All I can say is thank you. Regina, you're gonna help them out too, aren't you? I don't know. Maybe the circus would be better off without me. What are you talking about, Regina? Why do you think that I brought you to court today? We've got to work together to make the Berry Big Circus bigger than it's ever been. Moe. Moe's right, sweetie pie. It can't be the Berry Big Circus without Regina Berry. Max. Nick? It seems like everything is going to turn out alright here. I can't wait to go see the best circus the world has ever seen. We'll save you the most fabulous seats. It'll take us a while to get ready, but I'm going to order special whoopee cushion seats. That's what you get when your circus is run by a clown. You okay there, buddy? I see. What made the case? Yesterday's surprise raid. It really paid off, just like you said it would, sir. Oh. You had it all figured out, didn't you? It was just a theory. If Aqua really was the killer, I thought this was the only way it could end. Especially if he was the defense attorney. You mean Mr. Wright? Yes, I think. Of course. Well, detective, my plane is about to leave. As for Mr. Acra's case, you need not worry. I plan to personally stop by the Chief Prosecutor's office as soon as I get back. Understood, sir. I'll be waiting for you, Mr. Edgeworth. He's back! He's back. Farewell, my turnabout. A brand new episode has been added. I think that is also the last episode of this game. Let me have a look. I think, yes, that is the last episode of this game. So like we do with every one of these, we're gonna watch the intro video for the next case. And then that's where this stream is gonna end. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Who will be this year's Grand Prix champion? Who will be our hero of heroes? Will it be last year's runner-up, Gemma Ninja, or maybe Captain Saipon, all the way from the lovely tropical island of Saipon? I see the students of a certain starry school are raring to win, and Global Hero doesn't want to go home without a prize. We hope Lady Luck is with all our heroes tonight. I could not pronounce her name. And now, the winner of the 3rd annual Hero of Heroes Grand Prix is me. What's going on? Whoa, the true hero of the night has appeared in our midst. It looks like this year's Grand Prix goes to this fantastic warrior. The Nickel Samurai. Too bad, Gemma Ninja looks like the title eluded you again this year. He's new. It was the Steel Samurai, wasn't it? Gatewater Hotel, Viola Hall. And on that bombshell, that is gonna be the end of this stream. So, thank you for joining me and for staying for the whole 4 hours nearly of this game. Don't forget the pink princess. What about the pink princess? I'm lost now. So yeah, thank you for joining me on this 4-hour stream. I will not be streaming on Thursday. God, this stream ended nearly at my normal, well, almost my normal streaming start time. I will not be streaming this Thursday. I will be back next week, Monday. I don't know yet with what game. I will see then. So, thank you for joining me. Bye-bye. Hi, first time chatter. Bye, first time chatter. Bye-bye.